أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين
آمین۔
ترجمہ: اللہ کے نام کے ساتھ جو بے انتہا رحم کرنے والا اور بن مانگے دینے والا، بار بار رحم کرنے والا ہے۔ تمام حمد اللہ ہی کے لیے ہے جو تمام جہانوں کا رب ہے، بے انتہا رحم کرنے والا، بن مانگے دینے والا اور بار بار رحم کرنے والا ہے۔ جزا سزا کے دن کا مالک ہے، تیری ہی ہم عبادت کرتے ہیں اور تجھ ہی سے ہم مدد چاہتے ہیں۔ ہمیں سیدھے راستہ پر چلا، ان لوگوں کا راستہ جن پر تو نے انعام کیا، جن پر غضب نہیں نازل کیا گیا اور جو گمراہ نہیں ہوئے۔
جزاک اللہ۔ انگلش ٹرانسلیشن by عمران ایوان صاحب۔
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم، بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ Translation of Surah Fatiha. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Praise to Allah, the Lord of all worlds, the Beneficent and the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. Thee alone we worship, Thee alone we ask for help. Show us the straight path, the path of those thou highest have favored, not the path of those who earn the anger or those who go astray. Jazakallah.
جزاکم اللہ۔ پلیز اسٹینڈ فار دی پلیج۔ اشہد لا الہ الا اللہ وحدہ لا شریک لہ واشہد ان محمدا عبدہ ورسولہ۔ اشہد لا الہ الا اللہ وحدہ لا شریک لہ واشہد ان محمدا عبدہ ورسولہ۔ اشہد ان لا الہ الا اللہ وحدہ لا شریک لہ واشہد ان محمدا عبدہ ورسولہ۔ I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah. He is one and has no partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is is his servant and messenger. I solemnly pledge that I shall endeavor throughout my life for the propagation and consolidation of Islam Ahmadiyyat and for upholding the institution of Khilafat. I shall also be prepared to offer the greatest sacrifice for this cause. Moreover, I shall exhort my children to always remain dedicated and devoted to Khilafat. Inshallah. Please be seated. Poem Bisharat Bashir Khan Sahab.
تمہاری خاطر ہیں میرے نغمے میری دعائیں تمہاری دولت تمہارے درد عالم سے تر ہیں میرے سجود قیام کہنا تمہیں مٹھانے کا زم لے کر اٹھے ہیں جو خاک کے بگولے خدا اڑا دے گا خاک ان کی کرے گا رسوائی عام کہنا خدا کے شیرو تمہیں نہیں زیب خوف جنگل کے باسیوں کا گرجتے آگے بڑھو کہ زیر نگی کرو ہر مقام کہنا بساط دنیا الٹ رہی ہے حسین اور پائیدار نقشے جہان نو کے ابر رہے ہیں بدل رہا ہے نظام کہنا تمہیں مٹھانے کا زم لے کر اٹھے ہیں جو خاک کے بگولے خدا اڑا دے گا خاک ان کی کرے گا رسوائی عام کہنا تمہاری خاطر ہیں میرے نغمے میری دعائیں تمہاری دولت تمہارے درد و عالم سے تر ہیں میرے سجود قیام کہنا.
Jazakum Allah Ta'ala Isnal Jaza. Now I will request Nazim Sahib Ijtema, Muhtaram Chaudhry Mubashir Sahib to have a welcome address.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I welcome you all to the Ijtema of East Region 2018. I'm very much grateful that you all have participated from your very precious time to enable and make success of this Ijtema. And I also thank our guests from the center, Naib Sadr, Ansarullah, United Kingdom, and additional Qais of the Tabligh for their time and effort to be with us at the beginning of our Ijtema. To make it short and simple, because we have a very long, prolonged, and very compact program for the whole day for you. To start with, we will be in a very short time leaving for the sports hall. I will go over briefly for the whole program of the day and emphasize on a few points that needs to be remembered. The sports we will be at the sports ground as previously. We normally go there, which all of you are fully aware, in the Prairie Park, which is just next door to our unit, the center here. We'll be coming back here. We'll be back here in the center again by 12:30. So whatever the time that we have, we will do sports, whatever is available at our disposal and discretion according to the time. Once we are here, we will take care of the academics and lunch and then prayers, Zohra's prayers. Zohar prayer. Then in the final session, I know usually what happens, the most of you, due to some other worldly matters, you leave early to go wherever you need to. But I insist and I humbly request you to please remain here for the whole event. Ijtema is not just for the coming and ticking a box and going away. It is actually participation for the whole day and be part of the whole event for the whole day. So inshallah, in our final session, we're expecting Southern Sarla UK as well to be here with us. And in their honor, I request and I humbly, deeply request all of you to be here to welcome them here in the greater number. And do not leave without prior permission either from myself or from Nazmi Ala Sahab. Of course, there are some matters that needs to be done outside, but as long as we are aware of your absence from here, please kindly let us know. So in brief, this is the program of the whole day. So for the sports, when we are ready to go out, I will again announce what the procedure of that sports going out will be. And Azhar Amdi Sahab will be in charge of that. And we will brief you on that as we are about to leave the hall to go to the sports. Jazakallah, thank you very much. I welcome you all for the whole day event of Majlis Sarullah.
Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim, Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. आज मैं आपसे चंद एक इंतज़ामी उमूर पे भी और कुछ एक दो तहरीकात के बारे में बात करूँगा. मरकज़ की तहरीकात हैं, हज़रत साहब की तहरीकात हैं. And I will say something in Urdu and in English as well. जो सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी चीज़ है यहाँ पे, जिस चीज़ की कमी है हम स्पेशली हमारे रीजन में, वो जनरल मीटिंग्स का इनेकाद है. मजालस में जनरल मीटिंग्स की बहुत ज़्यादा कमज़ोरी पाई जा रही है. और हम इस वक्त तकरीबन 101 दोस्त यहाँ बैठे हैं, जिसमें ज़ोमा भी हैं, अंसार ब्रदर्स भी हैं. तो अगर हम 100 आदमी ही ये कोशिश करें कि हर महीने ज़ेम को इस चीज़ पे सपोर्ट करें कि उसकी जनरल मीटिंग में जाएं. जनरल मीटिंग उसी तरह यह है कि एक बेस है हमारी अंसारुल्लाह की या जमात की. ये इतनी अहम है कि इसी के ऊपर सारी बिल्डिंग खड़ी हुई है. जितनी मजालस भी अच्छी कारकर्दगी दिखाती हैं, उनकी जनरल मीटिंग्स अच्छी होती हैं. और उसका फ़ायदा ये होता है कि सब एक दफ़ा महीने में मिल के बैठ जाते हैं. अगर कुछ कमज़ोरियाँ होती हैं तो उसके ऊपर वो डिस्कस भी कर लेते हैं, और कुछ और भी जो गाइडलाइन होती है वो अंसार ब्रदर्स को दे दी जाती हैं. So I was just saying that the general meetings are very important, and we are almost 100 people are here. And if we support our Zaim to come into the meeting every month regularly to support him, and the general meeting is a baseline. All the building, all the Ansarullah's activities are based on these general meetings. So those majalis who are active in arranging, organizing these general meetings, and they have a good attendance in these general meetings, they are the best in the region, in the country as well, because then they can do all these works easily. So my humbly request to all of you brothers, so please support your Zaim and come into the general meetings. The second is same as the Majalis Amla meetings. That is also very, very important. Before moving to the Amla meeting, I've been just told one of our brothers here that some of the Majalis has even 80 miles of radius, some of them has 40 miles of radius. So no matter it is 80 miles, even if it is a 200 miles radius of a one Majlis, we should hold a general meeting every month, no matter what happens, no matter how many attenders, how many people stand up, but we should start holding our general meetings. It is very, very, very important. Same as Amla meetings, Majalis Amla meetings is very important. So I think most of ours has some of the position in the Majalis. So please support your Zaim also. And इसके बाद तबलीग स्टॉल्स हैं, महीनावार लगना चाहिए. अभी एडिशनल कायर साहब तबलीग ने भी कुछ बताया आपको اور میں اپنا تجربہ بھی بتا دیتا ہوں کہ جس طرح سے بھی میں بات کر رہا ہوں کہ یہ بیس ہے ہماری, اسی پہ پوری ہماری مجالس, اسی پہ ساری تبلیغ چل رہی ہے. مثال کے طور پہ اگر ہمارے تبلیغ سٹالز ہو رہے ہیں, ہم لیفلیٹس دے رہے ہیں, 1-to-1 ڈسکشنز ہو رہی ہیں, کویشچن آنسرز ہو رہے ہیں. مثال میں آپ کو دے دیتا ہوں, میں 6 سال سے نیشنل عاملہ میں ہوں, اور 5 یا 6 سال پہلے جب ہم کویشچن آنسر کرتے تھے تو ہر کویشچن آنسر میں 2-3 سوال ہم سے لازمی پوچھے جاتے تھے, اور وہ سوال ہوتے تھے ٹیررزم پہ, اور وہ ہوتا تھا خواتین کے پردے پہ, کہ ہم نے خواتین کو زبردستی پردہ کرایا ہوا ہے. یہ 2 سوال تقریباً ہر کویشچن آنسر میں ہوتے تھے, لیکن اب نہیں ہوتے. ایون کہ وہ لوگ جو پہلی دفعہ بھی آئے ہوتے ہیں ہمارے سوال و جواب میں, اب یہ سوال نہیں ہوتے. لاسٹ ٹائم یہیں پہ ایک یہ سوال ہو گیا ہوا تھا ٹیررزم پہ کہ ہاں مسلمان ٹیررسٹ ہوتے ہیں. آپ میں سے چند دوست یہاں بیٹھے ہوں گے, اب یقین کریں کہ اس کا جواب ہم نے نہیں دیا, ہمارا جواب عیسائیوں نے دیا, بیوروکریٹس نے دیا کہ یہ ٹیررسٹ نہیں ہے. ہمیں جواب دینے کی ضرورت نہیں پڑی, وکر بیٹھا ہوا تھا, وکر نے جواب دیا. اور اس کے علاوہ اب جب بھی ہم جاتے ہیں کہیں بھی اور کویشچن آنسرز ہوتے ہیں, اب یہ سوال ہی نہیں پوچھا جاتا. وجہ کیا ہے؟ وجہ یہی ہے کہ جو آپ لوگوں نے تبلیغ سٹالز پہ آپ لوگوں نے جو لیفلیٹس ڈسٹریبیوٹ کیے ہوئے ہیں, جو آپ نے 1-to-1 ڈسکشنز کی ہوئی ہیں, جو ہمارا سوشل میڈیا چل رہا ہے, اس سے جو کیمپین چل رہی ہے, تو یہ ایک بہت بڑا فرق ہے جو ودن 5-6 ایئرز آیا. اور ہم 5-6 سال پہلے بیٹھے یہ سوچ نہیں تھے سکتے کہ اتنی بڑی چینج ہوگی 5-6 سالوں میں. میں گارنٹی سے بات کر رہا ہوں. اور اگلے 5-6 سالوں میں کیا کچھ ہو سکتا ہے, آئی کین ناٹ تھنک. تو یہ جو کام آپ کر رہے ہیں, تبلیغ سٹالز لگا رہے ہیں, لیفلیٹس ڈسٹریبیوٹ کر رہے ہیں, یہ عام چیز نہیں ہے. حضور سے ایک دفعہ سوال پوچھا گیا, خدام نے پوچھا تھا کہ حضور آپ کی تصویر ہوتی ہے اس پہ لیفلیٹ پہ, حضرت مسیح موعود کی سم ٹائمز تصویر ہوتی ہے اور لوگ لے جا کے اس کو بن کر دیتے ہیں, ہم کیا کریں؟ تو حضرت صاحب نے کہا کنٹینیو, ڈونٹ اسٹاپ. رزلٹ آپ کے سامنے ہے, آج آپ کے سامنے رزلٹ. سو آئی واز سیئنگ دیٹ تبلیغ سٹالز اینڈ 1-to-1 meetings and those meetings who are question and answers, they are very, very important, and they are based on whole the tabligh. So in my own experience, I am a member of National Amra from last 6 years. 5-6 years ago, when we had a question answer, we usually have 2 questions. Very importantly, 2 questions. One is the ladies' parda, hijab, and the other one is terrorism. But now in these days, we don't have these questions. Even those people, those guests who turned up once in our question answer session, they don't ask these questions because they know the answer. Even once when I was here, by chance, one of the guests has asked or forced us that you are terrorist, all Muslims are terrorists. And believe me, we don't have to answer that question. Vicar was here, the bureaucrat was here, the other people was here. They answered the question for us. They replied to them for us. And end of the day, he was satisfied. So this is a big change which happened in just 5 to 6 years' time. So just imagine what could be happened in next 5 to 6 years. So this is my humbly request that please organize tabligh stalls every month in the city, in the village. And do not underestimate these tabligh stalls. Do not underestimate your one-to-one discussion, your one-to-one meetings with your neighbors, with your friends, with your colleagues. It is very, very important. And then finally, of course, if there is a question answer, organize those question answer and bring those people in there. You will have a big, big impact, inshallah ta'ala, in near future. I'm not talking about longer future. It could be near future. اس کے علاوہ میں نے تحریک کرنی تھی صدقہ جات کی کچھ. حضور نے عید کے موقع پہ بڑی اچھی تقریر کی تھی اور اس میں ایک ذکر صدقہ دینے کے بارے میں بھی ہے. اور ہمیں بھی پتہ ہے ہم جب کسی غیر مسلم سے, غیر احمدی سے یا غیر مسلم سے خاص طور پہ بات کرتے ہیں, وہ کہتے ہیں روزہ کیوں رکھتے ہو؟ تو ہم اس کو اور تو کچھ نہیں بتا سکتے, لیکن ہم یہ ضرور بتاتے ہیں کہ بھی چونکہ ہم بھوکے رہتے ہیں تو ہمیں پتہ چلنا چاہیے کہ ہم بھوکے ہیں, تو ہم ان بھوکوں کی ہمیں فکر ہونی چاہیے, ان غریب لوگوں کی فکر ہونی چاہیے. تو ہم سارے انصار بردر بیٹھے ہیں, کوئی 40 سال کا ہے, کوئی 50 کا ہے, کوئی 60 سال کا ہے. لیکن جب ہم میں اپنی ذاتی طور پہ بھی یہ بات کر رہا ہوں کہ جب ہم ہسٹری میں دیکھتے ہیں, میں پچھلے 25-30 سال سے روزے رکھ رہا ہوں, لیکن ایک پرٹیکولرلی ایک صدقہ دینا کسی بھوکے کے لیے, کسی غریب آدمی کے لیے صدقہ دینا, وہ بہت تھوڑا ہے کمپیئر کیا جائے تو حضرت صاحب نے بڑی اچھی تحریک فرمائی, اور اس کے سلسلے میں ہیومینٹی فرسٹ نے اور چیریٹی واک فار پیس ہم نے بھی اس کو آگے تحریک کو آگے لے کے گئے. اور جو لوگ سیریا میں ایسے لوگ جن کو کھانا نہیں مل رہا, اس کے لیے ایک تحریک چلائی گئی کہ 40 پاؤنڈ کا ایک 6 آدمیوں کی فیملی کا کھانا, جس میں 6 چیزیں ہیں, 45 کلو آٹا ہے, شوگر ہے, چاول ہے 10 کلو, اور آئل ہے, کوکنگ آئل ہے, ڈیٹس ہے, لینٹلز ہے. تو یہ 6 چیزیں جو سی ہیں اس 40 پاؤنڈ میں تقریباً 1 ماہ کا ایک خرچہ چل سکتا ہے. تو ہم اس تحریک میں جتنے بھی کوشش کر سکتے ہو, چاہے 1 مہینے کا, بے شک آدھے مہینے کا, بے شک 2 ماہ کا, جو بھی جتنا بھی کر سکتا ہو, چاہے 10 مہینے کا یا 10 فیملیز کا, تو اس تحریک میں ہم حصہ لیں. نہ صرف یہ کہ خلیفہ وقت کی آواز کو لبیک کہیں, بلکہ یہ ہماری اپنی اندر کی بات ہے کہ ہم نے روزے رکھے ہیں, ہم نے عید منائی ہے, تو ہم یہ تو کہہ رہے ہیں کہ بھوکوں کا خیال رکھنا چاہیے, تو ہم نے کچھ کیا ہے ان بھوکوں کے لیے. ہم نے طریقے جید میں بھی چندہ دے دیا, وقفے جید میں بھی چندہ دے دیا, دوسرے چندہ جات بھی دے دیے, جس کا اللہ تعالیٰ سب کو جزا دے, بہت اچھا ہوا. لیکن پرٹیکولرلی بھوکے لوگوں کا, دوز پیپل ہو آر ہنگری, اس کے لیے ہم نے کچھ کیا ہے. تو اس کے لیے ایک اپرچونٹی دی ہے کہ اگر آپ اس میں کچھ شیئر کر سکیں. So I was just saying that in the Eid sermon of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis, he has mentioned that to donate to sadaqah to those who are hunger, where there is a hungry. And we fast, and we tell everybody as well, especially non-Muslims, that we fast because one of the reasons is that we feel the pain of a hunger, a pain of a hungry person, a pain of a poor person, that how difficult for him to survive. So we donate usually in Tariq-e-Jdeed, Waqf-e-Jdeed, in other chandajat, which is very, very good. But Hazur has mentioned that we should do sadaqah and for those people who are hungry also. For that reason, Humanity First has launched an appeal, and Ansarullah also supporting that appeal, that for 40 pound in this area, a family of 6 can be fed for a month. And they will be given 45 kilogram of flour, 10 kilogram of rice, 5 liter of oil, dates, lentils, and there are 6 items. So they will give them. So I humbly request that if you can please donate generously, whatever you can, either for 1 month for a family, half month for a family, 10 families, whatever you can. So this is an opportunity for you to donate. So Jazakallah for coming, and Jazakallah for attending the Ijtema, and I wish that this Ijtema goes very well. So at the end, please join me in the silent prayer. Ameen. Jazakallah.
Gentlemen, so the program, as you know, has been shortened. We'll see how much we can cramp into the, cramp into the time available. We'll have a walk. Previously they've gone out and come back. I think we'll follow that route and I'll lead the way for that. And then we'll come back here for some races and we'll see how much time we have available for any other sports. So I think everyone is here. I suggest everyone uses the shade as possible. Exercise, very important, very important. Blood pressure.
Okay, this one, right hand.
ਜੇ ਦੋ ਖਾਓਗੇ ਦੌੜ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਠੀਕ ਇੱਕ ਬਣਾ
Chale.
You're behind, go.
Yeah.
Is one? Who's taking the penalty?
He's taking.
You're taking. Raza is taking.
Huh?
Ready? Ready? Oh, side. Raza can't.
Time लेकिन ऐसा. कोई नहीं इसके अंदर नहीं. Ready? Ready? Just on target. Just on target. Good boy.
Oh, good.
He's taking. Just 5, 6, just 3 is on. Line पे यार.
बाहर मारनी है बाहर
पे.
Excellent.
I've lost you.
Oh, very near. Good.
Oh, good save.
Raza, come here now.
Hey!
That's it. Okay, saying 5-1.
ठीक है. Yeah. Okay, ready?
How many penalties?
And then there'll be three after the accident that if you need it.
5 penalties is
5
fine.
penalties, right? Instead of that, after 3.
I'll get a winner.
Oh, good save. Hey, it's me. Don't worry.
Ready? रात को नहीं इतना ज़्यादा करता लेकिन Ready, keeper? Yeah. Okay, well done. Ready, keeper?
Oh, unlucky.
आराम नानो एक मिनट
Oh, शाबाश.
वैसे बंदा बाहर ही मारता है
गोलकीपर लाइन से नहीं है
ओके रेडी
हाँ उनके अच्छा भाग गया
हाँ जी.
Oh,
Well done.
finish. That's it.
Finish here. They can't score. We can go. एक मिनट रहेगी. बस नहीं.
United.
It won't matter. कर रही है ना.
छोटा जैसा पीस है. ये कम आ जाए. छोटा जैसा.
बोल नहीं अच्छे
Okay. Who is number 1? Up, आप यहाँ से आके देखेंगे यहाँ से कैमरा होता है ना Photo finish. We need 2 cameras for photo finish.
Are you in the way?
Okay. Are you refereeing?
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, and then the whistle you go. Yeah. 1, 2, whistle. Yeah. Okay, ready? 1, 2.
1, 2, 3. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and for your efforts. And now if you can make your way back. Take the rubbish with you. And please make sure there's no rubbish left here, please. No apple bits, no plastic bags, no bottles.
Safir Bhatti, Bhatti Gillingham.
Gillingham.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود.
Taslim Shahid,
Taslim Shahid, welcome first. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا السماء انشقت وأذنت لربها وحقت وإذا الأرض مدت وألقت ما فيها وتخلت وأذنت لربها وحقت. والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود إذ هم عليها قعود وهم على ما يفعلون بالمؤمنين شهود.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين فتنوا المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثم لم يتوبوا فلهم عذاب جهنم ولهم عذاب الحريق. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ذلك الفوز الكبير.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا وَيَنْقَلِبُ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ مسرورا.
أعوذ بالله عبد الأعلى نيوم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا السماء انشقت وأذنت لربها وحقت وإذا الأرض مدت وألقت ما فيها وتخلت وأذنت لربها وحقت. يا أيها الإنسان إنك قادح إلى ربك ثم إنهم لصالو الجحيم ثم يقال هذا الذي كنتم به تكذبون.
Mushtaq Ahmed Dar, Red Beach Talk. دنیا کی سواز میں کیا کچھ نہ کرتے ہیں، نقصان جو ایک پیسہ کا دیکھیں تو مرتے ہیں. زر سے پیار کرتے ہیں اور دل لگاتے ہیں، ہوتے ہیں زر کے ایسے کہ بس مر ہی جاتے ہیں. جب اپنے دل بروں کو نہ جلدی سے پاتے ہیں، کیا کیا نہ ان کے ہجر میں آنسو بہاتے ہیں. پر ان کو اس سجن کی طرف کچھ نظر نہیں، آنکھیں کان نہیں، دل میں ڈر نہیں.
السلام علیکم. سلیم شاہد، والتھم فارسٹ.
تمہاری خاطر ہیں میرے نغمے، میری دعائیں تمہاری دولت، تمہارے درد و علم سے تر ہیں میرے سجود و قیام کہنا. تمہیں مٹانے کا زوم لے کر اٹھے ہیں جو خاک کے بگولے، خدا اڑا دے گا خاک ان کی، کرے گا رسوائے عام کہنا. خدا کے شیرو تمہیں نہیں زیب، خوف جنگل کے باسیوں کا، گرجتے آگے بڑھو کہ زیر نگیں کرو ہر مقام کہنا۔
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ۔ مظفر محبوب احمد والتم فارسٹ۔ تمہاری خاطر ہے میرے نغمے، میری دعائیں تمہاری دولت، تمہارے درد و علم سے تر ہیں میرے سجود و قیام کہنا۔ تمہیں مٹانے کا زوم لے کر اٹھے ہیں جو خاک کے بگولے، خدا اڑا دے گا خاک ان کی، کرے گا رسوائے عام کہنا۔ بساط دنیا الٹ رہی ہے، حسین اور پائیدار نقشے، جہان نو کے ابھر رہے ہیں، بدل رہا ہے نظام کہنا۔
دنیا کی حرص و آز میں کیا کچھ نہ کرتے ہیں، نقصان جو ایک پیسہ کا دیکھیں تو مرتے ہیں، زر سے پیار کرتے ہیں اور دل لگاتے ہیں، ہوتے ہیں زر کے ایسے کہ بس مر ہی جاتے ہیں۔
تمہاری خاطر ہیں میرے نغمے، میری دعائیں تمہاری دولت، تمہارے درد و عالم سے تر ہیں میرے سجود کیا کہنا۔ تمہیں مٹھانے کا زوم لے کر اٹھے ہیں جو خاک کے بگولے، خدا اڑا دے گا خاک ان کی، کرے گا رسوائے عام کہنا۔ خدا کے شیرو تمہیں نہیں زیب، خوف جنگل کے باسیوں کا، گرجتے آگے بڑھو کہ زیر نگی کرو ہر مقام کہنا۔
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ تمہاری خاطر ہے میرے نغمے، میری دعائیں تمہاری دولت، تمہارے درد و علم سے تر ہیں میرے खौफ जंगल के बासियों का गजर गरजते आगे बढ़ो के ज़ेरीनगी करो हर मकाम कहना.
The next one is prepared speech. It can either be English or Urdu. The topics have already been sent into the majalis. Just to remind you, I just read them again. The Holy Prophet ﷺ's kindness with family members, the promised Messiah's passion of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, Khulafai Ahmadiyya and world peace, how to bring up children in a Western society, and Jamaat Ahmadiyya's humanitarian services. So these are the 5 topics, and you will be given 4 minutes each.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. The Holy Quran, which is the revealed word of God, states, observe justice in equity, even if it be against your own selves, or your own parents, or your relatives. This is a very high mark indeed for the level of justice which the Holy Quran desires of us. And when we look at the Holy Prophet ﷺ's example, we read what Hazrat Aisha Radhiyallahu anha had to say when she was asked by one of the companions, please tell me something about the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and she replied, do you not read the Holy Quran? The Holy Prophet ﷺ was the embodiment of the Holy Quran. So in the matter of our relatives, although we are all very compassionate and kind, we see that the example of the Holy Prophet ﷺ was beyond par. And we are amazed when we read some of the incidents which are vouchsafed and kept safe in the books of Hadith. Like I said, we all have compassion for our relatives. Unfortunately, when we come to power, we see some kind of nepotism even in the White House. Today, you will see some relatives occupying offices of state, although they are not elected or some would say qualified, but that's how nepotism works. When you achieve power, unfortunately, people tend to favor their relatives to the detriment of society. But we see the example of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is extremely just and exactly in accordance with the teachings of the Holy Quran. There is an incident related that in the time of Medina, when there was some kind of relative prosperity once, and remember that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had been appointed as the arbitrator of the whole of the Medina community. Once there came to the house of the Holy Prophet ﷺ a lot of dates, and it is narrated that one of his grandsons took one date and put it in his mouth, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ ran after him and took even that date out of the mouth of his own grandchild, saying that prophets do not eat of zakat. So this is the high level of justice which the Holy Prophet ﷺ has exemplified in this very small incident. Another incident is that after one of the battles, there were some prisoners taken by the Muslims, and the hands of the prisoners were obviously tied, and one of the prisoners was one of his uncles, the Holy Prophet ﷺ. At night, he heard the groans and moans of his uncle, and he was much moved. Obviously, there is compassion in the heart of every one of us, and none more so than the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He was very moved, and he went over and said, look, I think we should loosen the knots, but if you loosen the knot of my uncle, then you have to loosen the knot of everyone. So again, we see very high example of justice. Another example is when Hazrat Fatima asked the Holy Prophet ﷺ, because she had developed calluses on her hands, And she also had, by grinding the millstone, she also had marks on her chest by carrying the water bags. She also had her clothes very dusty throughout, because although she kept them clean, but because of the cleaning, they become dusty. She asked for a servant from the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ, although he was living in Medina and enjoyed relative prosperity and many servants, he replied, "Why do you hanker after worldly things and means of rest? Why should I not tell you of a better bargain? If you recite the tasbih 33 times each, this is a much better bargain for you." Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad.
Safir Bhatti Jalingam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. One of the topics mentioned was the love of the promised Messiah for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The key feature of the love of the promised Messiah ﷺ has not been paralleled by anybody else, has not been paralleled even by the Sahaba, apart from one who lived in Yemen. And it is reminiscent of that. But it is even more than that, because not only did he not live at the time of the Holy Prophet, not only that he did not live in the proximity of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, but he lived 1400 years after the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And that time span did not decrease the love of the Holy Prophet that the Prophet ﷺ had for him. Indeed, this love is classed beyond all other loves because of this length of time that passed. And the love that the Prophet Messiah had for the Holy Prophet ﷺ is replete with incidents in his life where he is sitting, reading or hearing or thinking about the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and immediately tears of love, I wouldn't say tears of joy or tears of happiness, but tears of love would flow down his cheeks in the mere memory of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Then this love took another step. The love was so great that he stood in front of the whole world and presented his own heart before everybody else, his own chest. And he said, "Do not attack my holy master, attack me. I am here. I will take every single blow that you wish to throw upon my master, and I will take it on." Now, he did not mean that just spiritually, he meant that physically. He was prepared to take every hurt and every stone that could be thrown at the Holy Prophet. He was prepared to take it, and he did take it on. He suffered immensely because he followed the teachings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, because he declared to the world that I am that Messiah, that messenger who was to come after the Holy Prophet. And he did this, and he took extreme pain and hatred, and he was cut off from his family initially. But he took this on purely out of the love of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And then this love was transformed further. He did not keep this love to himself. He opened new doors and new avenues and new sites of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which had been hidden for centuries. He opened them up to the whole world, not just Muslims, but to the Christians and to the non-believers. He showed a new life, a new light that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had, which was hidden from everybody else. This was the sheer love that he had, that he would not stop at any measure, at any moment, to describe the beauty and grandeur of the Holy Prophet ﷺ to the entire world.
Assalamu alaikum. Salim Shahid, Waltham Forest. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So the topic is Khulafai Ahmadiyyat and peace. Since the Khilafat Ahmadiyya began, we see that all the Khulafa, they have been promoting peace. Peace not only in the Jamaat itself, but peace throughout the world. It's not only the words, these are the actions, and the Jamaat has been showing this in action from the very start. Even at the time of the Prophet Messiah ﷺ, the other Muslim brothers and sisters, they have oppressed the Jamaat so much which continued after his demise at the time of the Khulafa. What was the reaction of each Khalifa? And we have all observed that we were told that you should observe peace. So if we look in ourselves as an Ahmadi, the peace is embodied in ourselves, deep in our hearts. And we are peaceful people, and we have never responded to the oppression, the aggression, and the cruelty which has been shown to the Jamaat in different countries of this world. And many of us are from Pakistan. We have observed that. I remember when the president of Pakistan, Ziaul Haq, when he oppressed the Jamaat, at that time I was quite young, and we got together at Jamaat's instructions that we were ready to do anything, to be honest, at that time. All of us, the youngsters. And we were thinking that we will be told to do this, and we will go out and do this. And what happened? Next, the Jummah khutbah, which came from Khalifa Rabi, Rahimullah, that peace. And with that, we are not going to respond, and we will all become just cold. And we sat down. And that is how we learned that we have to promote peace. And the slogan of Jamaat, love for all, hatred for none, is a big sign of what Jamaat is standing for. We are not only that promoting peace in ourselves, but through the word, and look at the Khalifas, that they are traveling to the different countries and addressing to their leaders and promoting the peace. As a Khalifatul Khamis Ayyadullah has addressed not only UK Parliament, European, Capitol Hill, many other countries, and the only message which is peace. And we see a number of books which Jamaat has generated, and all titled as peace. Because why? Because Islam means peace. And that is what we are promoting. We are Muslims. We believe in Islam. We are promoting peace. So it is very important for all of us that we do understand that we are the community. We are standing for establishment of peace in this world. We are not the one which are going to create any chaos in this world. May Allah enable all of us to follow the instruction of the Khulafa who are promoting the peace and take it further and spread it in this world. Ameen. Jazakallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. The topic picked is coming of Prophet Messiah alayhi salam. When Islam came, even at the time it was decided and it is revealed by Allah and His Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Islam will be spread in this world in two stages, in two periods. One period will be immediately after Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then there will be a period in which there will be total chaos. Islam will be very weak in this world. And that will be the time when the second manifestation of Holy Prophet ﷺ in the form of promised Messiah ﷺ will happen in this world. And then this will continue to the day of judgment. So it is not what has happened in the recent history. It was decided long time ago. And we are fortunate that we are in that second period, and we are looking at the spread of Islam under the direct teaching of Prophet Messiah Islam, which is actually the teaching of Islam, teaching of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Prophet Messiah Islam came, initially he himself was not aware, obviously, that he is the one, he's the chosen one. Actually, he himself believed that Jesus Christ has risen up in the heaven. And later on, he came to know that he is the one who has been appointed. And since then, and he wrote 80 books in which he has written in length regarding the truth of Islam, which has obviously been promoted by the Jamaat, by the Khalifa. And we are in a stage when we are addressing the whole world now. And the person who was in a village, and now he is well-known person throughout the world, in the big governments, in the villages of the Africa, Pakistan, India, and inshallah ta'ala will continue this word in the world. Thank you very much.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The topic of my speech is Tehreek Jadid. We are fortunate, very fortunate indeed, that we are living in the time of the promised Messiah and the Imam Mahdi. As you know, the Holy Prophet Muhammad had prophesied that the condition of Muslims would enter a period of long decline. And so much so that all the mosques would be empty of faith, the believers would be empty of faith, and the condition of Muslims would become very much like Jews who had been divided into 72 sects, and my ummah will be divided into 73 sects. But only one will achieve salvation. So we are very fortunate. But how are we going to carry on the works of Islam? How are we going to carry the work of the promised Messiah alayhi salam? He was, as you know, he died in 1908. Now the work must carry on. So we have had gifts upon gifts. After the demise of the Holy Prophet, of the promised Messiah alayhi salam, we had Khalifa al-Masih Awwal, then we had Hazrat Muslim Maud radiyallahu anhu, who carried on the work of the Imam Mahdi to the ends of the earth. So this is what it means when it says that I will cause thy message to reach the ends of the world. It's not going to be reached just by telegrams and by books. We have to prepare ourselves. We have to make the sacrifices. Otherwise, what is the use of us being part of this Jamaat Ahmadiyya? And we must all be very grateful for being part of this Tehreek Jadid, which is spreading the message of Islam, Ahmadiyyat, of the true message of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the far corners of the earth. We need missions, we need missionaries, we need mosques. I had the honor to go to Brazil. Now Brazil, there are no people there, no Ahmadis, very few, maybe less than 10, but there are some Pakistani Ahmadis. So how will they build a mosque? How will they have literature in their language, Portuguese? Obviously, they have to be financed from here. That Jamaat is not yet mature enough. So we must all take part in this blessed scheme. Jazakallah.
Safir Bhatti Jalingam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. The topic that I have decided to go with is, will England win Football World Cup? Now this straightforward topic, but it has two facets to it that we should understand and realize. The first one is, being in this country, we owe our loyalty to this country. So with that in mind, we should support England in the World Cup. So asking, as a true Muslim who supports his country, as per the instructions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that you should be loyal to your country. So answering this question as an Ahmadi Muslim, we say, yes, inshallah, they will win the World Cup. But pragmatically, there's another answer to this question, because are they good enough to win the World Cup? Only a couple of days ago, they decided to forfeit or lose a match, in inverted commas, to Belgium, so that they could face a lesser challenge in the last 16, and opted. They say they did not, but it seems that way. And this is not the Muslims speaking. This is the British people who are speaking. This is what they're saying, that they forfeited the victory against Belgium so that they could have an easier run into the quarterfinals. Now, when you do that, that's not sportsmanship. So if you disrespect sportsmanship, and there's this horrible word karma, that can come and bite you back. So if that's what they've done, I don't think England have a great chance of even progressing past this last 16, because Colombia play in a style which is something which I don't think England can handle. They have very quick backline. They push up very quickly, and England think at the moment that they are on a crest of a new playing style, and they will and they keep singing, this is going to come home. But I think the only thing that's going to come home is karma, and they will find that despite taking the easier route, they might even get knocked out of the 16th and not even make it to the quarterfinals. And they're counting the chickens before they hatch. They're thinking which one would be better to play against, Switzerland or Sweden. I mean, that's how far they go. I mean, if you have that mentality, so as a British person, no. But as a Muslim, we hope they do.
Abdul Allah from Neom. So the topic of my speech is importance of MTA in an MD's life. So MTA was conceived, as we all know, in early 90s under the leadership of our beloved leader at the time, Mirza Tahir Ahmad Khalifatul Masih Rabi. And I think from that time on, it's gone strength to strength. And in an MD's life, it depends how far you want to take it. I think it has a role in every MD's life, no matter what language you speak. And we started off as one channel in Urdu and English. Now we get translations in many different languages. All different important programs are translated in many different languages. Hazur's Friday sermon that we all encourage to listen to. And the beauty of it I can give my own example, is that in between my clinical activities on a Friday, I just put it on the internet in the clinic and listen to it. I used to, or if you're traveling, you can listen to it on the go. Then afterwards, you can stop somewhere and do your prayer, or before your clinic. You don't have to listen to all of it. You can listen to most of it. You can then do your prayer, and then you can catch up with it afterwards. So if we then think about the role of MTA in our family, I think it's a very important role. First of all, it doesn't play anything vulgar. It has only clean programs. It has many informative programs. It plays documentaries. It also plays world news. So I often tell my children that this is the best channel in the world. If I have to watch one channel, then this is the one channel I'll watch all the time, because it gives me all the information I want. And I actually feel very relaxed watching it, because there's a lot of spirituality to it, and there's a lot of meaningfulness to all the programs that are played on there. And it also provides you an opportunity to sit together with your children, and if they have any questions about any programs, then you can pause it, you can explain it to them. Jazakumullah.
चौथा 2 और चाहिए, ये नहीं अभी इधर रख देता, अभी रखो। हाँ एक्स्ट्रा रिफिल आया ना, रिफिल आया। और क्या चाहिए? एक चावल और चाहिए। आ रहा है। एक और चावल। ऐसे फिर आ गया। रिफिल आ रहा है।
Session of the regional Ijtema, I request Safir Bhatti Saab for recitation of the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. O ye who believe, fear Allah, and He should be feared, and let not death overtake you except when you are in the state of submission, and hold fast altogether to the rope of Allah, and be not divided, and remember the favor of Allah, which He bestowed upon you when you were enemies, and He united your hearts in love, so that by His grace you become as brothers, and you were on the brink of a pit of fire, and He saved you from it. Thus does Allah explain to you His commandments, that you may be guided. And He let there always be among you a body of men who should invite to goodness and enjoy virtue and forbid evil, and it is they who shall prosper.
Please stand up for the pledge. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah. He is one and has no partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and messenger. I solemnly pledge that I shall endeavor throughout my life for the propagation and consolidation of Islam Ahmadiyya and for upholding the institution of Khilafat. I shall also be prepared to offer the greatest sacrifice for this cause. Moreover, I shall exhort my children to always remain dedicated and devoted to Khilafat. Inshallah. Please be seated. Nazm Muhammad Barrister Sahab.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Manzoom kalam Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam. Jamalo husn Quran noor jane har musalman hai. Kamar hai chand auron ka, hamara chand Quran hai. Nazir uski nahi jamti, nazar fikr kar dekha. कलाम पाक रहमान है बहारे जाविदां पैदा है इसकी हर इबारत में न वो खूबी चमन में है न उसका कोई बुस्तान है कलाम पाक यज़दां का कोई सानी नहीं हरगिज़ अगर लूलूए अम्मा है वगर लाले बदख्शां है मलाइक जिसकी हजरत में करें इकरार ला इल्मी सुखन में उसके हमताई कहाँ मकदूर इंसान है हमा जमालो हुस्न कुरान नूर जाने हर मुसलमान है कमर है चांद औरों का हमारा चांद कुरान है
Dr. Salim Shahid Saab, speech on you and your health.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So this morning we held a medical camp under the supervision of Dr. Abdullah, and then we had the blood pressure monitoring and the blood sugar monitoring. So I thought that I will again mention a few things about it. I did speak about it last year too, but then there were many Ansar brothers asking different questions, so maybe it will enhance the learning process. So when we say that someone has a blood pressure, we all have blood pressure, it means that there is increased blood pressure called hypertension. So what is wrong with it? So there are two readings in the blood pressure. One is the upper reading, one is the lower reading. Upper reading, when the heart pumps the blood into your system, and that comes as an upper reading. Now that pressure has to be a reasonable pressure, as any pumping system you know of. If the pump is excessively sending pressure, there will be some damages to the pipes through which it is going, depending on the strength of the pipe also. So in us, Allah has created the system in a way that heart is the pump, and then the blood vessels goes thinner and thinner and thinner, and it goes so much thin that you cannot see from your eye. You have to see it with a microscope. It has become very delicate. If the pressure is excessively high, these blood vessels can rupture. And if it ruptures, blood comes out. And if it happens in the brain, it results into what we understand as stroke. The other blood pressure is a lower blood pressure, which is that you need to have it to sustain a blood supply to the different organs. Now, if that blood level, if that pressure is higher, the pump, the heart, has to work very hard to keep the blood flowing in the body. That means there will be increased stress on your heart, and then which can result into getting the heart bigger, weaker, and can result into finally some heart failure, ischemia, means angina and things like that which affect the heart. Now, so it's very important that you keep your blood pressure under control. There are some people who thinks that if the blood pressure is a little bit up, and we have a tendency especially as a male, that we try to fight with it and we don't take medication. It's important you take medication, because by the time it has result into something like a stroke, heart problem, then you cannot go back, unfortunately. You can stop it there, you can delay the progression, you cannot go back in it. So please do consider that. Second was the blood sugar monitoring. So we all have sugar in our blood and we need it for our strength. Our cells, they utilize the sugar, and that is how we work. The sugar has to, again, to be like, let's say, in the middle, in the medium, not low, not high. So it has to be in a range. The pancreas is an organ in our body which produces insulin, and the insulin job of the insulin is that to take the sugar from the blood and transports it into our cells so it can be utilized. The insulin is produced by this pancreas, and it has to function normal to keep the level of the insulin. For different reasons, if the pancreas is not working normal, it may not produce enough insulin. Very rarely, there can be something, tumor in the pancreas can result into higher insulin production, but that is rare. Normally, it may not produce enough insulin, and then what happens? That the sugar remains in your blood. Sugar is very high, glucose is very high in your blood, but it is not going into the blood cells, and not the tissue cells. Hence, the tissue cells are still starving, saying that we have not enough food, and you will feel weak. You will not be able to do things because of the weakness, although there is a plenty available, the blood glucose, but you cannot transport it into your cells. That's the reason you need to have the insulin. So what happens? So you get a blood test, which tests that the blood sugar is very high in the blood. There is one logical reason that you have diabetes and the insulin is not enough. Then this can be of two types. One is which is dependent totally on the insulin, the other is not dependent totally on insulin. And at our age, normally if we develop it at this age, this is something called non-insulin dependent diabetes, means that it is not dependent totally on insulin. It can be treated with medication. What the medication does, it stimulates your pancreas to produce more insulin. So what can you do? So one thing is that you can reduce the burden on the pancreas by controlling your diet, reducing your intake, especially the sweets. What else can you do? You can take the medication so pancreas can produce. Sorry, telling me? Time for? All right, sir. Just let me know. Telling us that it can increase the insulin, and then we can reduce the sugar. And third thing you can do is you can increase the effectiveness of the insulin, and that is by your walk, by your exercise. Your tissues get very sensitive. Even little insulin can be good. Like a little good advice, some people hear better, some people don't. It can, in this way, you can control your blood insulin level. Now, if your blood sugar is not under control, this is bad, because I cannot go into detail, but I can tell you that this will affect each and every organ of your body, starting from the brain up to the toe. Every organ is affected by these two conditions, blood pressure and your sugar. Someone has both, they are at increased risk. You need to take medication and regularly check your blood sugar so it remains into control. Currently, we know there's a tablet. And if a tablet do not control, then you need insulin injections. Should I stop it here, Sadasab?
Jazakallah, up to you. If you think people have understood, then that's all right. If you want to give them a parting message, couple of things they can do to make sure that their blood pressure and diabetes remains under control, and the risk of ethnic population, particularly Asians, at a higher risk of diabetes, and the sequelae of that.
Exactly. As in Asians, we are at a high risk of attracting both of these ailments. So the most important thing you can do for both is doing a brisk walk. That is the best of this. This will reduce your blood pressure because it opens the blood vessels in your muscles, and then the blood pressure, like if you open too many taps, the pressure will go down. So when you brisk walk regularly, more blood vessels form in your muscles, and then the blood pressure goes down. You can control it with an exercise. Sugar, yes, your sensitivity to the insulin increases, as I said before, if you have a brisk walk or you do light exercise. So these two things you can do it. On the other side, as I said, food control, extremely important. Yes, for blood pressure, salt is considered as, but it's not that you don't have to just abandon the salt. You just don't take excessive, just take a minimal amount for your taste. And similarly, so the diet intake, don't eat too much, as we are told, and there's a hadith that we should eat only to fill 2/3 of your stomach and leave the 1/3 empty. If we follow, including me, then we will not have a belly like we have, many of us. We will not have all these ailments. And look at Holy Prophet ﷺ and Prophet Messiah and Khulafa, you can see all they have the habit of a brisk walk. And that you can take it also from there. It's very, very important for health. So may Allah enable all of us to have a good health, because a good soul does need good body. Jazakallah.
Dr. Saab, we have with us Murabbi Saab, Rawahuddin Arif Saab. I'll request him to kindly come and address the Ijtema.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا وابعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياتك ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم. When Hazrat Muslih Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu established Majlis Ansarullah, he kept this very verse of Surah Al-Baqarah 130, which I have just recited, in his mind. And it is also known as the prayer of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. He explained that to continue the work of a prophet, it is the duty of our community, and specifically the duty of the members of an auxiliary organization, that this particular verse points out to the main obligations. First of all, in this verse, it is mentioned, Yatlu alayhim ayatika. So the translation of this verse of Surah Al-Baqarah goes as follows: And our Lord raise up amongst them a messenger from among themselves, who may recite to them thy signs and teach them the book and wisdom and purify them. Surely thou art the mighty, the wise. Now Hazrat Muslih Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu pointed out that from this verse, every Ansar or every Nasr has certain obligations, because this verse or this prayer was given to the father of the prophets, known as Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. And this prayer was for his nation, his progeny. And similar is the work of a Nasr or of any Jamaat member, but in particular he mentioned that every Nasr should take this verse in front of him and try his level best to act upon it. So the first instruction given in this verse is that Yatlu alayhim ayatika, that to recite to them thy science. In other words, Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu mentioned, to do active tabligh. And in the field of tabligh, the most important verse from the Holy Quran is from chapter 5, verse 68, where it says, Ya ayyuhar rusul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, fa illam taf'al fama ballaghta risalatahu. And this verse was revealed to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying, O Messenger, convey to the people what has been revealed to thee from thy Lord, and thou hast not conveyed his message at all. Now, after the revelation of this verse, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very keen on his duty to preach Islam to the world. Being the perfect example and the perfect role model, we should always look upon the life and the character of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and especially in the field of tabligh. It is said that in the Holy Quran, وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالْمَرْحَمَةِ, exhort one another to preservance and exhort one another to mercy. And we saw this verse being implemented by the Holy Prophet ﷺ himself. The qualities which should be in an active da'i are all together in the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So there are many qualities which we should adopt. When we look at the life and the character of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he invited everyone to Islam. He did not differentiate of color, race, religion. He did tabligh in every state of his life. There were many failing incidents, but he always stayed steadfast. And we have the example where he invited his family to accept Islam. But all of them dispersed. But then he called them for dinner, and before serving the food, he did tabligh to them, and all of them listened. Then we come to know that he spent all of his life in the cause of spreading the message of one God. It was his intention and dedication which eventually led to success. He said that even if I die in this path and come back to life and die again, I still would continue to spread the message of Tawheed. Even if they laid the sun in one hand and the moon in the other, I will not stop preaching the oneness of God. So, if we look at the tremendous effort of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the way he preached to the world, then we have to think about ourselves and reflect whether or not we are doing tabligh as is expected from us. The second point mentioned in this verse is about the recitation of the Holy Quran. The name of our holy book contains a prophecy in itself. The word Quran means often read or continuously read. Thus, we must uphold this prophecy by reciting the Holy Quran daily. The Holy Quran itself instructs us to recite a part of the Holy Quran at Fajr because it says, verily, the recitation of the Quran at dawn is specially acceptable to God. We then not only have the responsibility to recite the Holy Quran ourselves, but instill that habit in our families as well. Now, are we truly fulfilling our responsibilities in this regard? The next point mentioned in this very verse is teaching the wisdom of the law of the book. Now, after the recitation of the Holy Quran, we must try to gain knowledge from the Holy Quran. Did we fulfill our duties in teaching our children and the world the wisdom of the law of the Holy Quran? Nowadays, where the world is led by materialism and atheism, we have to recite the Holy Quran, we have to study the Holy Quran, we have to learn from the Holy Quran in order to teach others, and start in our household, with our families, in order to protect them from the influences, the bad influences from the outer world. The next point mentioned is tarbiyat, the teaching of Islam, which was revealed to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, provides us with guidance regarding every matter. If every single one of us were to act upon this teaching, a beautiful society could be formed, where there are countless commandments in the Holy Quran. However, Allah the Almighty says, "Verily, you have in the Prophet of Allah an excellent model." Thus, true success can only be achieved if we put this model before us in every big and small matter. Now, tarbiyat is a very vast field, but I would like to point out one in particular, and that is the responsibilities of a man which he has as a guardian of the household. He not only has the responsibility as the guardian of the household, but also as a husband and a father. If every man came to understand these responsibilities and try to fulfill them, it could become a means of peace in the wider society and the establishment of love and harmony in the household. Some men thinking that they have unbridled authority as the head of the household, and thus are engaged in domestic violence and cruelty to their wives and to their children. The Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, as the guardian of his family, he made his family appreciate, first and foremost, the importance of establishing Tawheed, the oneness of God. However, he did so with love and affection and not by force. Thus, Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha relates that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would wake up during the night to offer the voluntary prayers, and he would wake us up with a light sprinkling of water so that we may offer nawafil and fulfill the responsibilities which are due to Allah Almighty. Then the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam helped with tasks which were part of the duties of the wives. Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha relates that he would stitch his own clothes, mend his shoes, and repair the household items such as the water bucket, etc. Thus, many husbands, keeping these examples in mind, will have to reevaluate their behavior at home. Remember the hadith, "The one from among you is the highest regarding morals and manners, who is better in his treatment of his wives." Thus, good treatment of wives is the very sign of the greatness of one's standard of faith. Regarding the responsibilities of a husband and good treatment of wives, the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam states, "Except for indecency, all weaknesses and petulant behavior of women should be tolerated. I find it absolutely shameful that a man should fight a woman." Once the promised Messiah ﷺ said that our members should not be harsh and ill-tempered with their wives. The promised Messiah ﷺ said, Once I raised my voice against my wife, and I immediately refrained from uttering any hurtful and harsh word. I recited a lot of istighfar and offered voluntary prayers with great ferventness and gave some charity. Thus, those who are unkind to their wives, their faith is in danger. They should be very concerned as the person who is not at the highest standard of faith can stumble at any time. Admonishing such men, the promised Messiah ﷺ says, if a man is not pious, how then can the wife be pious? He further said, verily, if a man becomes pious, the wife can also become pious. If you wish to have a peaceful home, you have to treat your wife kindly, with love and affection. The promised Messiah ﷺ, explaining this, says, the relationship between a husband and wife should be like two true and sincere friends. If his friendship with his wife is not good, how can he be at peace with God? The Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said, the best among you is he who is best towards his wife. Husbands need also to understand their responsibilities as fathers. Fathers should also play their role in the child's training and upbringing. In particular, when boys reach 7 or 8 years old, they become needful of their father's attention. Men and fathers must establish their good examples. Where fathers should show respect and regard to their children, they develop good morals. A father's good relationship with his children gives them a sense of protection. Thus, to instill in children a sense of security, it is imperative that fathers spend some time in leisure activities with their children and pray for them. The promised Messiah ﷺ says, I pray for my children and require them to follow a broad set of rules of behavior. What are our teachings? What are its rules? What are its regulations? We draw attention towards them and no more. Beyond this, I put my full trust in Allah Almighty, in the confidence that the seed of good fortune inherent in each of them will flower at its proper time. He further states, the trial of one's children is a great trial. If one's children are virtuous, then what should one worry about? He says, behave in a manner that is an excellent example for children, and for this it is essential that one should reform oneself. In any case, men should fulfill the various responsibilities that are placed upon him. Always set an example at home whereby it creates an atmosphere of love and affection. A man is a husband as well as a father and a son. Therefore, one should understand their responsibilities according to their various capacities. The Holy Quran shows us the path to become a better man and an example in teaching us the following prayer. Rabbana hablana min azwajina wa dhurriyatina qurrata a'yunin waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. And those who say, our Lord, grant us of our wives and children the delight of our eyes, and make us a model for the righteous. Now, the last point which was mentioned in this very verse I recited in the beginning is the elimination of the weaknesses of a nation and leading it towards success. And we should constantly pray for this and constantly strive for this by showing with our actions and following the role model of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, just to sum it up, the 5 points I mentioned today are first of all tabligh, and then the recitation of the Holy Quran. And after the recitation of the Holy Quran, learning and teaching the wisdom of the law of the Holy Quran. And then tarbiyat of oneself primarily, and then of one's children, one's wives, one's household. And finally, the 5th point mentioned by Hazrat Muslim Maud is eliminating the weaknesses of a nation and leading it towards success. May Allah Almighty enable us to become truly the Ansar of Allah Almighty. Ameen wa akhiru dawana.
Next is Ijtema report. Nazmi ala Ijtema sahab. Assalamu alaikum. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In holding this regional Ijtema, we first had a routine monthly meeting on 7th June in which we discussed and started planning and discussed about how we can form committees and subcommittees. In continuation of that, on 20th of June, we held a special Ijtema meeting in which the duty was explained, 3 vice chairmen were appointed and chairman was appointed, and different departments were allocated to the relevant office bearers or team members. And during this whole time, all committee members worked very hard. They stayed well connected to each other. They had sometimes personal meetings or telephone discussions and conversations just to sort out the issues if there were any. And for this Friday evening, 8 Ansar gathered here to set the hall and to do in preparation of the food and some things which are like maybe putting up these banners and these kind of things and exhibition. And again yesterday evening, about more than 8 Ansar gathered here in the hall, and they worked very hard, and they packed especially the prizes which are due to be given today, and finalized the kind of last bits of the things which were left from the Saturday. And today we started registration at 8:30, and but although the registration started 8:30, but the Jaffa team, they started a lot earlier than that. So to ensure that the breakfast is ready for the Ansar when they come to attend the Ijtema. So they are the kind of first comers of today, I'll say. And a team of doctors, they did medical checks on Ansar before they did the breakfast. So I'm sure, inshallah, that will help some Ansar in maintaining their good health. And first session started at 10 a.m., which is on time as planned. And when we started the first session, our registration at that time was 92 Ansar. But by the end of that session, alhamdulillah, we had a registration of 103 Ansar. And after the first session, there was a session for sports and academic competitions. And we had lunch and Zohar Namaz, and now we are in the last session. And by now, I'm informed that we have a registration or attendance of Ansar for this Ijtema of now is 141. While I'm told that last year the maximum attendance was 122. So alhamdulillah, our step is ahead of from the last year. And I take this opportunity to thank especially the Ijtema committee, chairman of the Ijtema committee, and all 3 vice chairmen and their teams. And I'll say that overall credit for the success of this Ijtema definitely goes to the Zoma, because they are the backbones or maybe the frontline commanders who really worked hard in making this Ijtema as a success, especially the attendance, because the attendance cannot be achieved without the cooperation of Zoma. So I personally very much thankful to the all Zoma. And I also thank very much to the Jaffa team and their hard work for planning, preparing, and providing breakfast and lunch and now tea, which they are still working on. And finally, I thank all Ansar brothers who took time to attend the Ijtema, and by their presence, they made the Ijtema a successful Ijtema, and for taking part in different activities. And I also thank Sadr Saab for taking time to come here and join us in this final session. So thank you very much for Sadr Saab. So at the end, everyone who has worked hard, who has attended the Ijtema, and who has helped me in any sense whatsoever in holding this Ijtema, I thank very much, and at the end I'll say, Jazakumullah ahsanul jaza.
In the morning we had sports competition, and we had a team event which was football. So Waltham Forest won the tournament and they came first. So can I request Captain Dr. Shai Saab to come and take his medals for his team? And second is barking. Barking in Dagenham. Barakallah. Can Captain Mansoor Ahmed Saab come and take medal, please? Apart from that, we had 100 meters race, under 55. Raza Qurashi Sahib of Redbury North, he came first. Imran Awan Sahib of Waltham Forest, second. And Dr. Ala Qurashi Sahib of Newham came third. Hundred meters over 55, Shahid Khan Sahib of Gillingham came first. Chaudhry Mubashir Sahib of Redbridge South, second. Yusuf Adam Sahib of Newham, third. The next event was 400 meter open race. Abdul Nasir Sahib of Waltham Forest came first. Barakallah. Shahid Khan Sahib of Gillingham, second. And Naseem Hayat Sahib of Havering came third. Now we come to academic competitions. Tilawat Safir Bhatti Sahib came first. Mushtaq Dar Sahib, second. And Shahid Khan Sahib, third. In Nazam, Safir Bhatti Sahib first. Muhammad Barrister Sahib second. And Salim Shahid Sahib third. Prepared speech, Azhar Ahmadi Sahib first. Salim Shahid Sahib second. And Safir Bhatti Sahib third. Extempo speech, Dr. Abdul Ala Sahib first. Safir Bhatti Sahib second. And Salim Shahid Sahib third. Now, some prizes for those Ansar brothers who helped their Zuma in performing the duties of their majalis. And I have a list which was given by the respective Zuma as well as Nazim Sahib. So I'll start from Barking Jamaat, And the first one is Javed Iqbal Sahib. If somebody is not available, can the Zaim of that Ziyamat can take the prize and give it to him, please? Mansoor Ahmed Sahib. Muhammad Barrister Sahib. Tahir Shafiq Sahib. Raja Shahid Ghalib Sahib. And Mahmood Ahmed Bhatti Sahib. Mahmood Ahmed Bhatti Sahib. He was here. Told them to ला लो sir. Gillingham Safir Bhatti Sahib. Shahid Khan Sahib. Awais Khwaja Sahib. And Tahseen Jahangiri Sahib. Havering is Haku Shani Sahib. Zaim Sahib. Zaim Sahib.
Oh, Saku Sani is there.
Yeah. And
It is not nice to be present in an Ijtema without a cap. You must please find one. Jazakallah.
and Nasir Mubashir Sahib. North London, Hamid Khurshid Sahib. Khalid Jamil Sahib. Khalid Sukia Sahib. Okay. Muhammad Boke Sahib. Zaim Sahib. Muhammad Boke, North London. Muhammad Boke Sahib. Redbridge North, Kareem Hayat Sahib. किधर गए करीम? Ahmed Raza Qureshi Sahib. Abdul Majid Raja Sahib. इधर आए हुए थे वो, आप ले लें। Redbridge South, Muhammad Ijaz Sahib. Muhammad Asif Sahib. Shams Mirza Sahib. Sharif Ahmadi Sahib. Waheed Khan Sahib. अब्दुल करीम ख्वाजा साहब, उनका भी आप ही ले लें, वो मेरा ख्याल नहीं है इधर। अब्दुल करीम ख्वाजा साहब और बशीर खान साहब। बशीर खान, next one is Newham. Pir Bisharat Sahib has gone, so he's not present. Yeah. Zaim Sahib, Pir Bisharat Ahmed Sahib, Kashif Khan Sahib, Shahid Ahmed Sahib, Shahid Sahib, Edward Mugini Sahib, Dr. Kashif Bhatti Sahib, Bashir Bhagelu Sahib, Nasir Mahmood Khan Sahib, Muhammad Suleiman Sahib, Adam Yusuf Sahib, Usman Bomapul Sahib, Akram Bhatt Sahib, Asif Kareem is gone as well. वो चले गए. Daud Ahmed Guraya Sahib and Shibli Zakriya Sahib. Waltham Forest, Muzaffar Mehboob Sahib, Ilyas Dar Sahib, Tanveer Malik Sahib, Ahmed Hussain Rahman Sahib, Adnan Malik Sahib, and Muzaffar Ahmed Sahib, I think he's gone as well. So, Muzaffar Ahmed Sahib. Apart from that, in the region, the three top majalis, number one is Waltham Forest. Second is Newham. And third is Gillingham. This concludes the prize distribution. Attendance in this Ijtema is Newham. They got 57 Ansar.
57%.
So sorry, it's 57% attendance, 24 Ansar. And Waltham Forest, 51%.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Respected Regional Nazmi Ala Sahab and my dear Ansar brothers, it is my privilege to join you for your regional Ijtema. I'm grateful that you invited me to this concluding session. I know there are competing activities going on. There is a Jalsa Salana meeting happening which I was supposed to attend as well, and I'm sure many of your brothers from here have gone and joined that meeting with Amir Saab and Afsar Jalsa Salana, and that's why that would have affected your attendance somewhat. Your attendance is better than what it has been in the last year or even in the previous years as well, if my memory serves me right. But I think there is still significant room for improvement which is there. You have a tajneed of around 350 odd Ansar, and I think the attendance is around 40% or so, and that is the total attendance during the whole day. I was told that this session, rather than making a formal speech, I would be open to taking questions that people would want to ask me, any questions they would have, and we will use about 10-15 minutes of time to do that. That's what Regional Nazmi Ala Sahab told me. So I'm here at your service. Agar kisi ko kisi kisam ka koi sawal puchna hai, if somebody has any question in their mind which they think that I can help clarify, I'm more than happy to assist in any way I can. Those questions that I can answer, I will certainly try to. So I open the floor. It is not, I stood up here rather than sitting there. I thought it will be easier for people to, if they want to ask any sort of questions. That's what Regional Nazmi Ala Sahab said to me that I should do. Ji, please. Yeah.
They are housebound, and it's one of the reasons some of them have not been able to make it. Is there any plan for the region or local governments to visit them regularly to boost them and to make them a part of our organization within the framework of them?
Jazakallah. I think it's a very important point, and I am ashamed to mention, if not everybody already knows this, it is part of our annual plan. It is put on the website. It is taught in the refresher courses held. It is part of the program both for Amumi department. It is part for the ISAR department as well. And both these departments, as far as I am aware, particularly ISAR department, you should be holding visits, particularly of those Ansar who are housebound or for any reason are unable to move. They have difficulty coming to the mosque or a Salat center or coming into any meeting, or who are admitted in hospital or suffer from long-term illnesses or live alone, and they haven't got too many people who come and visit them or haven't got any family. This is particular part of our inherent part of our program, which is there. And Regional Nazmi Ala Sahab, will you help me answering the question here that why this is not being, or is it being implemented or not?
So, I have repeatedly in the Allah meetings drawn attention of the Ummah and Muslim Isar as well to make this.
So is it happening, is my question.
No, it is not happening.
If it is not happening, then we must make sure that this happens. It is an extremely important role of ISAR department, that although we hold ISAR meetings, which are particularly supposed to be held monthly, of those Ansar who cannot come to a meeting because of any physical health reasons. They must be, if somebody should go to their home, provide them transport, assist them to bring them to that meeting. Those Ansar who are isolated, who haven't got family around them, or no, as I said, not too many people come and visit them. So this ISAR, monthly ISAR meeting gives them the opportunity to sit together with other Ansar, talk, have food, and have some sort of social interaction with people. That is one ISAR meeting every month in every majlis, which is part of the ISAR program. Similarly, at regional level as well, this should be held. And apart from that, the regional ISAR department and also the local Muntazim Isar must make plans to visit Ansar locally, particularly those Ansar who are housebound due to any health reason or they cannot move out. That is a standard part. Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Aziz, I remember, Baithe please, should I say about 6 months ago? 6 months ago there was a Nasir who had come from Pakistan, and he neither had recourse to public funds nor anything else. He was here for a few months. He sought asylum, and he used to give some time and work in the Isar department around Fazl Mosque. He became extremely unwell, and he got admitted to hospital. Now, because he was not part of the tajneed of anyone, because he had not come onto the AIM system, we were not aware of him. And I received a letter from Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Aziz regarding that gentleman, and he said that, what is your Isar department doing? Your Isar department should be looking after him. Unfortunately, he died in the end in hospital, and he was suffering from a terminal illness. He died, and then we made sure that we were able to do whatever was required to be done to transport him back to Pakistan, his body, as per the wishes of his family. But this is an inherent responsibility of Isar department, and I think it is very, very basic. If that's not happening, all I can say is that we must ensure, Reed Lazmi Ala Sahab, that we are doing it. Ji. Yes.
The other day, I received a phone call from Umure Amma
Yes.
asking me, is your wife available? I said yes. And he said, I want to ask her if she needs any help.
Amurama.
Amura. And so I want to ask whether yours, what you are doing is going to is part of that? Or
No. So as I said, the Jamaat departments, so there is a Nizam-e Jamaat states that there is a Jamaat system and there are system of auxiliary organizations. So under the Jamaat system, the Amure Amma, the Secretary Amure Amma, one of his roles is also of doing this thing of making sure that he makes contact with people, those who are housebound, those who are not able to come. And I remember Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Aziz, almost I think something like 18 months to 2 years ago, reminded the Jamaat Amure Amma department that the Secretary Amure Amma is only doing one part of their responsibility, not the other part. And I think since then they are trying to do that as well. But apart from this, under auxiliary organizations, we don't have an Amure Amma department. Majlis Ansarullah has an Isar department. This falls within that. In Majlis Khudamul Ahmadiyya, there is Khidmat-e-Khalq department. This will fall under them. So they would be doing their own part. Ansarullah will be doing their own part. Jamaat will be playing their own role.
Second is that mostly we receive information about examination every month they do under Ansar.
The paper, the online Talim paper, is that what we are referring to? Ji.
For the last 6-7 months I'm asking that there should be hard copies for the old people like me, who cannot, who don't
Yes.
know that much
Yes.
information about the internet.
So this, Batten, please have a seat. So the standard instruction there is the paper has been done online for convenience of people. But we also appreciate that because our members start from 40 to whatever age, so there will be a group of people who are not computer savvy, who are not able to do things online. For them, their Zaim Saab can print the paper. It is possibility of printing the paper, photocopy the paper, ask the Nasir to do that paper, and then enter that paper on behalf. Whatever you do, all he needs to do is go online and enter the answers what you have done on your behalf, putting in your AIMS number there. So that is the practice which I hope all are following, but looks to me that they are not. So Zoma who are sitting here, or Muntazim Talim who are sitting here from local majalis, please make sure the instruction from the center is very, very clear. The paper online has been done for convenience of people. And yes, now the physical papers don't go back to the center, but your Zaim can collect that paper and enter it online on your behalf which will be counted as a paper anyway. Ji, please. Please, sir. Wa alaikum assalam. As I said, what he's mentioning is that the mosque is very big. Not only this mosque, there are all the other mosques around the country as well, and how we can fill them. Hazur Aqda Sayyid Allah Ta'ala bin Aziz, I don't think that there is any of his speeches which he has made at anything. The most recent one which he did was on the Shura of the Jamaat Shura as well, whereas he advised on other things. He also advised on, and what he said was that if the Amla members of the UK Jamaat at all levels and the auxiliary organizations Amla members, even if they start offering their prayers in the mosque, in congregation, whichever mosque is near to them, your mosques will be more than 60 to 70% filled. That's what Hazur Aqda said in his even most recent one as well. But I'm aware of his previous multiple instructions as well. I'm also aware that Hazur has instructed that all secretary tarbiyats should be giving a report from every mosque of their Amla members and Amla members of the auxiliary organizations. I'm sure Murabbi Sahib, does a report go from here as well? Secretary Sahib Tarbiyat kaun hai niyam ke yahan pe? Is he sitting here by any chance? Do we send a report to National Secretary Sahib? Nisar Orchard Sahib? Not anymore. Nisar Orchard Sahib met me on Shura as well, and he assured me that he is getting this information from all mosques. If not, you are supposed to be doing that. My understanding was that the Murabbis in every mosque are doing it independently. I don't know whether that's happening or not. But as I said, because they gave an update, because this is something that it serves as a reminder to people, isn't it? So as National Amla, I can tell you, so in answer to your question, as Majlis Ansarullah National Amla, we send a report of the National Amla members' congregational prayers every month to Hazur Aqdas. So every week, it's an online system which they have made, so every week on Sunday night, we get a reminder to fill in the report. So you click on the link, it takes 2 minutes to fill it on, online, on Google Sheets, I think it is somewhere they have made it. And the information then is collated by Qaid Sahib Tarbiyat, and it goes with the letter along with the Hazur Aqdas every month, not every week, every month of the National Amla. We are also trying to monitor the regional Amra attendances as well, but that's not very good at this time in Ansarullah. But Hazur's instruction is absolutely clear that unless the Amla members lead by example themselves, in the current Shura address, Hazur reminded about what Murabbi Sahib was saying here. We can only teach people if our own knowledge is good. If we ourselves have not read the books of Promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam, if we do not have the library of Promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam's book at our home ourselves, how can we ask others to read it? So we need to read these books, we need to lead by example. I know some members may not be able to offer, please have a seat, all prayers, but at least Fajr and Isha. I remember a few years ago, I think from Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya, I think Shura, it went from somewhere it went, I think it was Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Shura or something, a recommendation like to offer Maghrib and Fajr and Isha prayers. And the reply from Hazur Aqdas was, why not all 5? And if not all 5, at least 3. So as I said, I know people are at work, but those who can, and Fajr I think is one time where probably majority of the people, if not all, a very large majority of the people, only a very small minority works in shifts that they would not be able to offer their Fajr prayer in the mosque if a mosque is near them. And similarly, a mosque is nearer at Fajr. Why I say that is, if you are living about 15 minutes drive away from a mosque, in the morning that drive is 6-7 minutes. So the 15-minute distance can get, longer at Fajr. And I think majority of us will live probably 15 minutes away from a mosque or a Salat center at Fajr time. At Isha time might be there is rush because times keep on changing, but otherwise we should make all efforts. And the best thing, Secretary Sahib Tarbiyat, is that I think this is standard instruction. If you bring up Nisar Orchard Sahib, and he will probably tell you that why you're not sending it. So I think it is because he gives a report to Zuri Akdas separately. So there are multiple channels of report. Yes, we are not, as I said, darogas, but I think all these things serve as a reminder to people. And once you keep on reminding people, I think it helps that people are reminded of this thing. In Ansarullah, I think we try holding Salat days, awareness days. Are we doing them regularly here or not? No, Sadhu Sahib. It's very unfortunate. I didn't want to say that. I see the reports all the time. So it is probably one of the weakest regions in the UK. East region is one of the weakest regions in Ansarullah in UK. So bottom three, should I say. I wouldn't want to name the two others, but it is in the bottom three. And I think significant work needs to be done. These are all parts of our annual program. Your Tarbiyat program very clearly mentions holding Salat awareness days. You need to send a report of Ansar offering congregational prayers. You need to send a report of how many Ansar you individually approached on the Salat awareness day to make sure that they are aware of the Salat times, offered them transport or methods in which they could come to the Salat center or a mosque, and then make efforts that they come to the mosque at least on that day. So it is multiple ways of increasing this. But that is what we need to be doing. And you must hold a general meeting every month. Unless you hold an Ansar general meeting every month, these things will neither be talked about nor people will be aware of. And similarly, if you don't hold an Amla meeting every month, how can you look at what you did last month? So an Amla meeting is not like a general meeting. In general meeting, you try motivating people, you try engaging people. In an Amla meeting, you ask questions. So in my Amla meeting, it's not, a simple smiles going on. There is a Qaid, or there is a Nazim, or there is a Muntazim. He has a responsibility, there is a program. In one Amla meeting, you tell them that this is what you need to do. In the next, you need to ask them for an update on what they have done within the last month. एक दफ़ा नहीं देंगे report, दो दफ़ा नहीं देंगे, कभी तो शर्म आएगी ना. Unless you start asking, how would people remember that? So we need to have that culture of asking in the Amla meeting the right questions of what has happened within the last month. But for that, first of all, an Amla meeting needs to be held. And I am aware that not in all majalis a general meeting or an Amla meeting is held here in the East region. So that is something else. And as I said, it is all your brothers who are sitting here. The office bearers are limited in number. Unless we all try assisting them, their hands cannot be strengthened. The office bearer himself cannot go and do tabligh by themselves. They cannot perform all the responsibilities by one person, two persons, or your Zaim cannot do it by himself. So we must offer our time, we must offer our services. I know there are competing demands and there are multiple things happening, but then unless we are able to give precedence, when we claim that we have done a pledge, that we will give precedence to faith over worldly matters, unless we are demonstrating that, at least in any way, अगर और किसी ज़रिए से नहीं कर सकते तो कम से कम कुछ वक्त तो दे सकते हैं. अगर दिन में 24 घंटे हैं या हफ्ते में जितने भी घंटे बनते हैं, we can give some amount of time, if not what we are giving there. And I'm sure all of us are able to spare some time. But the time has to come from somewhere. Nobody is sitting free all day long. People work, there are families, there are other obligations that you have. But then कुर्बानी करना इसी को कहते हैं ना, sacrifice. You have to take out time from somewhere to do it. As if when you do financial sacrifice. Huzur Akdas mentioned in the Shura address as well, that we all must be aware of that any money which anybody gives to the Jamaat in any month, people have done a lot of sacrifice. कोई तो अपनी ख्वाहिश छोड़ी होगी ना. They must have given up something. They could have gone and bought something. They could have bought something for their children. They could have gone on holiday. They might have had an extra meal. So you don't know how people give the money to the Jamaat. Any kind of chanda which people give to us in any form, how do you know how they have, what they have sacrificed to give it to you? It is the same spirit which needs to happen in terms of time as well. You have to take it away from somewhere. बीवी से वक़्त लेंगे, बच्चों से वक़्त लेंगे, कहीं से तो वक़्त निकालेंगे ना. We'll have to take time out of somewhere because time is only 24 hours in a day. So it is that spirit of sacrifice. And as office bearers, like Hazur reminded all office bearers on this Shura address, that when you are spending the money of the Jamaat, be very, very mindful of that. I can spend my own money, I can go to a shop, buy what I want, I buy this car, I do that. That's my money. When I'm spending Jamaat money, I should look after pennies, not pounds, pennies even, because we are responsible for that money which people have sacrificed, taking sometimes money out of their children's mouth, food out of their children's mouth, and they have sacrificed and given that money to the Jamaat. So no wastage anywhere. So similarly, when people give time to the Jamaat, it is the responsibility of the office bearers to make sure that they don't call people for no reason, and when somebody is able to give time, they are able to utilize it effectively. ये नहीं है कि आप हर हफ्ते को आ जाया करें stall के लिए, and then you know that there is no stall this week. So somebody has traveled, come and given time. It's not. So ask people what time they can give in a week. I think this exercise has happened in the past as well. I think when you used to be additional Qa'id Tabligh, you are very well aware of that exercise. So at local level, you need to ask Ansar, can you please tell me what time can you sacrifice in a month, in a week, 1 hour, 2 hours, on what day, at what time, and then try to, collate something and then try to hold some tabligh activities accordingly at that time so people are able to do things. So it is a responsibility which is both ways. And unless both work hand in hand, things will not move forward. Please. No, please. मस्जिद फ़जल नहीं भरती हज़ूर अक़दस सैयदुल्लाह ताला बिन असल अज़ीज़ यहाँ ना हो तो I am absolutely aware. You're pointing out right, have a seat. So what he's saying is, why are we allowing to open salat centers within 15 to 20 minutes of a mosque? I cannot answer that question. I apologize. Opening salat centers is responsibility of the Jamaat. So probably this question is best asked of Regional Amir or Amir Sahib UK. What I am aware of is the instruction of Huzur Aqdas is that people living within 15 to 20 miles or within a few miles radius of the mosque should try and offer their prayers in a mosque or a salat center, whichever 15-20 minute radius that is. And there are no two things about it. People should come to the mosque and people should offer their prayers in the mosque. What we can do about it, as I said, I've already mentioned, we can remind people, we can take things. You remember Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, there is a riwayat, a hadith, that he once said that he feels like that when azan is said and he makes somebody else an imam in his place and goes and burns the houses of those people who have not come to the mosque. But he never did that. It was just showing the strength of his feelings, of how strongly he wanted to emphasize to people, and this is one way of emphasizing, isn't it? So our job as office bearers, our job is to continue to remind people, try to make it convenient for them. So I'm sure people will be getting a text, somebody, I don't know who your local Sadr is it Peer Sahab or? So Secretary Sahab, your text must be going out to all your Tajneed. Newham, I'm asking, is it here? So these are very basic things, isn't it? So even in, where I live, they send a text to whole of the Tajneed, and the text comes whenever the salat times change. And they change every, few weeks. Thoda sa pehle ho jata hai, thoda sa baad ho jata hai time. And that text goes to all of the Tajneed. That serves as a reminder, that is one thing. Our Murabbi Sahab sends texts or on WhatsApp group of Ansar as well, a reminder to people when the attendance in the mosque falls, and he sends a reminder text to people. That is, there are various ways of doing things. Yeah, but I said these are very basic things. अगर मैं रहता हूँ कहीं पे मस्जिद के करीब और मुझे पता ही नहीं है कि फजर की नमाज का वक्त 3:45 बजे आजकल या कल को 4 बजे हो जाएगा, whatever time keeps on changing, isn't it? So people have, inverted commas, excuses. Human mind works in beautiful ways. We have ways of defense mechanisms. We rationalize things, fortunately or unfortunately. So try breaking those sorts of defenses. Try breaking those excuses, as they say, with hikmat. You don't use a sledgehammer to do that. You keep on reminding, and one of the ways is sending all your Tajneed who lives within the area timings of your prayers. You normally text people. MashaAllah. Good. Ji. Walaikum Assalam. Yes. So, Jazakallah. So, Majlis Ansarullah, according to 2012 Shura, Hazur Aqdas very graciously gave the responsibility of constructing Cardiff Mosque to Majlis Ansarullah UK. That would be the first purpose-built mosque in Wales. An appeal was launched at that time, and the time for completion was up to 3 years. Unfortunately, there were difficulties. We have bought a property, I think people are aware of, which is being used as a mosque at this time. So we purchased a property. Up till now, £366,000 has been spent on that property, in buying the property and in renovating it, making it usable. And the Jamaat is using that. Then there was a lot of opposition, although the property was bought subject to planning permission. And the council approved the planning permission at that time, gave in principle approval. When the planning application went, there was lots of opposition from local Muslims, and there was some labor councillors, which caused trouble, and as a result, the planning permission was refused. Then the Jamaat made a second application. That second application was refused as well. And at that time, I then asked Nasir Khan Sahab to go to court, because we think that it was wrong of the council, and Jamaat very kindly agreed to what we said. We went to court against the council, took the council to court, and council then realized that they were not able to defend it in a court, because we also, I had sought guidance from Hazur Aqdas, and normally we don't claim when we go to court. It has happened in other mosques as well. So we only claim for costs. But this time we had thought that we will also claim for the enhancements to the cost of building the mosque now. Because 2012 to 2015 the mosque should have been completed. It is 2018 and the mosque has yet not been started. The costs are significantly going up of building the mosque. So council then agreed to an out-of-court settlement with the Jamaat. So to cut a long story short, the planning permission has been granted to Cardiff Mosque. I am in a process of writing a letter which will come to every Nasir, because the Jamaat is asking now Ansarullah for more money in comparison to what the original cost would have been. We are short of a couple of £100,000 in the original promises, but we need more. We need around £500,000 rather than the £200,000, which would be outstanding at that time. due to Baitul Fatu appeal happening and then charity walk happening and then things working, I agreed with Amir Saab not to write a letter, and I will write a letter now. So now is the agreed time to write a letter to every Nasir that people who have paid already should pay something more, those who can, and those who haven't fulfilled their promises, please pay something. Majlis Ansarullah UK is the only auxiliary organization which has built a full mosque in the UK. Hartlepool was the mosque at the cost of £1.5 million, was totally funded by Majlis Ansarullah UK, and this will be the second mosque. So we are blessed in that sense that Hazur has given us the responsibility of building this mosque. Nasir Khan Saab tells me that after Jalsa Salana, September, October time, work will start, the construction will start of this mosque. And the timing to finish it is approximately a year's time, 1 year. Ji. Jazakallah, as I think we can only work within the aims and objectives of Majlis Ansarullah as an organization. Our aims and objectives as a charity state very clearly as well, that we are a religious organization and we do collect charity. The Charity Walk for Peace is a UK registered charity as well. So we do try to promote Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Assil Aziz, his peace initiative. We have distributed over 100,000 copies of first edition of Pathway to Peace. Majlis Ansarullah UK was blessed that Hazur gave us permission back in 2012 to do that. So when the first edition of Pathway to Peace came, we have distributed, Majlis Ansarullah UK distributed without any cost 100,000 copies of that book in the UK to various people around. So yes, we try doing that and try promoting peace, but we do not get in touch directly with the governments, as I say. That's beyond our role. Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Assil Aziz uses various platforms to raise this issue, as I said, and he has done it in various parliaments across the globe. Ji, please. I can't answer that question, that why many competitions have been omitted. Have lots of competitions what are mentioned in the syllabus. Are we talking of academic competitions? Are we talking of sports competition? Academic as well as sports. Ji, Nazmi Ala Saab, Ijtema.
I'm not exactly aware which particular competition was omitted. I think it was more left to the people who are dealing with those departments.
No, so which competition wasn't held, please? Can we have that?
Well, the secretary said, sitting here himself, I think he's aware of it. The one that he said was omitted. I would like to list them.
Yeah, it will be good to know. आपने अब जब question raise किया है, so हम कोई चीज़ छुपाते नहीं हैं. We are not hiding anything. I think we are all sitting here in good faith, and if there is something which people need to learn from, we all need to learn from that.
Which was exactly you are saying which this was curtailed? Which
कलाई पकड़ना. अच्छा. Ji, please.
As regard to the wrestling, arm wrestling, it was very openly announced and mentioned. Remember Al-Assad saying that nobody volunteered. Nobody volunteered. Even so much so that even when the 400-meter race was being held, many people advised it's a long race, a hot day, don't do it. But because we had announced for it and it was part of the play that we needed to participate, we did not intervene in it, neither did we interfere. rather it was the in charge, Arabi, he did it, only 4 or 5 people take part. Out of those, about 90 people standing out there, only 4 people took, maybe 4 or 5. That is the only people who took part. Even a 100-meter race, there were only 5 people. No, what I'm saying is
Jazakallah, yeah. Jazakallah. Jazakallah. I think the important bit is that we need to hold the Ijtema and try holding all competitions. I know in National Ijtema as well, so I'll tell you an anecdote. In the National Ijtema as well, people always are very unhappy that the time for sports is very limited. आप में से भी कईयों को शायद शिकवा होगा इसके ऊपर जब आप जाते हैं नेशनल इज्तिमा में, that the time for sports is very limited. So I remember the previous Sadr Majlis Ansarullah few years ago asked Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Asl Aziz ki Hazur, time for sports gets very short. It is practically, I think, if my memory serves me right, something like 2.5 hours, I think on 2.5 to 3 hours on Saturday, and then I think an hour and a half on Sunday on the National Ijtema. And it is not possible to hold all competitions, and people get very unhappy about that. So can we have more time for these sports? And Hazur Aqdas, very graciously, he smiled and said that you are Ansarullah. Your job is Taaleem and Tarbiyat. You should be focusing your Ijtema on Tarbiyat and Taaleem. You should not be focusing on sports. So the sports time will not change. So since then, neither he nor I have had, whatever time I have had up till now, I have had the, courage to go and ask for anything different. So we abide by that. The time for sports is limited. But some of the regions I'm aware of, in regional Ijtemas, sometimes people hold it on a different day. So I'm aware of some regions holding their sports competitions on a different day. So they could have held it on, you can hold your Ijtema competitions on a different day to the day of your Ijtema, and then that is possible as well. So there are various ways of addressing. I know particularly Safedom Ansar, the young Ansar coming from Khudam, who are more hard to engage in Ansarullah. I think they want to play a lot. So maybe you could hold it on a separate day. I'm not saying it is entirely your choice of how every region manages that, but I'm aware some regions do that, and we don't stop them. As long as they think that they are able to manage attendance for both days, if it is not going to affect the attendance of your day on which your academic competitions and the formal regional Ijtema is going to be held, you can hold it a week before, you can hold it a day before. We wouldn't have any objections. Ji, please.
One thing happened in the center with that academic and sports people started simultaneously at the same time. So it's not possible for anybody to.
I know. That will continue to happen every year. I've just told you. that will continue to happen every year. That there isn't a choice there in terms of how these things will be managed. Time is very limited. Ijtema, now we are talking of National Ijtema, so the site has been acquired near Country Market, and inshallah the Ijtema will be held as planned in our dates which were given last year, last weekend of September. A week before is Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Ijtema, and then what is in the national calendar, the same dates the Ijtema will be held. Lajna Ma'illah Ijtema will be held on the same dates as well. So Ansar and Lajna Ijtema will be held on the same site on the same days. Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Ijtema will be held a week earlier than that. So, and Shura, I also want to clarify this. So Hazur Aqdas, I asked this question because our constitution states that Shura should be held with Ijtema. So Hazur Aqdas clarified to me that it is for those countries where it is difficult for people to travel. So because our year ends in December, Shura will always be held in the first week of December. So if you would have noticed, Shura is in the annual calendar mentioned always first week of December. So it will continue to be held separately in first week of December, always for Majlis Ansarullah and not with the Ijtema. Ijtema is Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I'm not very, I'm very forgetful. I think it is 28th, 29th, 30th of September. But if it is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever Friday, Saturday, Sunday is there, that is the Ijtema. Ji. If there is nothing else, Jazakumullah wa asnal jaza. and I once again congratulate you all. I would like to remind, as I said, what Hazur Aqda Sayyidullah Ta'ala continues to remind us, particularly responsibility as office bearers. Our office bearers at all levels need to lead by example. Our personal conduct, our professional conduct, how we deal with Jamaat members, how we our own, whether we are musis ourselves or not, the amount of chanda that we give, we need to reflect and look at ourselves first of all. Then we can remind all our other brothers to do this. So similarly, in terms of tarbiyat, if we not look at ourselves first, if we are not doing what we should be supposed to be doing ourselves, both at our homes, for our families, and ourselves as well, offering prayers in congregation as per instructions of Islam, I should say. First of all, offering salat in congregation is obligatory on Muslim men. This was 1500 years ago. So it is not something new which we are being reminded of. So offering salat in congregation at a salat center or mosque is obligatory on all men. So we should try to continue to offer salat wherever we can, wherever it is possible in a mosque or a salat center. If not, if we live far away, then we must try and offer prayers in congregation at home with our family. That is something which is very, very basic, and as it is very clear to all of us that it is salat which prevents us from all wrongdoings. It acts as a shield for all of us. I think it is extremely important that we need to be regular in salat, regular in congregational salat, and regular in congregational salat in a mosque. So I hope that all of us, all office bearers of Majlis Ansarullah, other auxiliary organizations and the Jamaat will try making their best efforts to do that. May Allah the Almighty enable us all to act on all instructions of Islam Ahmadiyyat and Hazur Aqda Sayyidahullah Ta'ala bin Asl Aziz in letter and spirit. Please join me in a silent prayer. Ameen. Before I forget 1 minute more, you see how there is a reason that there are murabbis. You looked at how beautifully Murabbi Sahib explained the responsibilities of a Nasir, and he related a particular ayat of the Holy Quran along with that. I hope you use Murabbi Sahib in your tarbiyat forums where females are sitting as well, where kids are sitting there as well. Lajna are there as well, tarbiyat forums. Because I think it is extremely helpful when there is a tarbiyat forum being held, when families are sitting there telling responsibility so all are able to hear it. And it has a much better effect in terms of, so I hope that you will continue to do that. Jazakumullah wa ahsan.